Yo, peace was good. Welcome to another installment of my CD collection. This is part 146. I think the last time I did one was like about a month ago or some shit like that. Maybe 2 months ago, I don't remember. But let's get it started, man. Bought some CDs. Went digging like about 2 months ago, and then the rest were like mostly eBay and Discog purchases and that kind of thing. All right, so let's get it started. All right, first song on the show is we're gonna go to 1993, and we're gonna go to Oakland. We're gonna go with Jay Spencer. Um, yeah, Jay Spencer with Chimera. This was released in 1993. Um, he's a saxophonist based out of Oakland, California. This was released on the Mo Jazz, which was pretty much the subsidiary jazz record label of Motown Records at the time. Yeah, really good stuff right here. Kind of remind me of like stuff that Ronnie Jordan would do, like in that same vein, like that kind of acid jazz, hip hop jazz kind of feel. Pretty good stuff right here. You got songs like singles off this album are Hip Hop Jazz, Hot Pants, and what was on? I got cheat. Thinking About You. Those are the singles of the album. And we got some dope joints on here. You got Hip Hop Jazz. You got Smooth Style, Hot Pants, like I mentioned before. Like It Like That. Fantasy, Can I Do Ya? Life in My Town, Thinking About You, La La Song. Yeah. What was another? Till I Found You. Everlasting was pretty good. Um, Love and Thank You, Lord. Those are pretty much the standout tracks. My only gripe, pardon self. My only gripe with this album was some of the songs didn't have vocals, like rapping vocals, and I don't know, they were kind of like distracting for me. Not that they were bad, but I just like songs, music like this should just be like more instrumental. Kind of like Ronnie Jordan, like I said before. Yeah, really good stuff. And he dropped another album back in 1995. Forgot the name of it, but sadly, back in 2005, he died of heart failure at the age of 36. Yeah, it was just sad. He was very young. I'm 37, so he's 36. '05. I just graduated high school at that time period, and yeah, this is kind of scary, man. It's just I don't know if he had like a family history of heart problems or congestive heart failure, which is kind of like because usually congestive heart failure is like that's what Craig Mack died from, and it's very rare that you'll survive from that. So I don't know if he had that, but nonetheless, I mean it's sad that he died so young. But yeah, it's really good stuff right here. Chimera, however you pronounce that, by Jay Spencer, released in 1993. All right, next album. Sorry, I gotta get a new chair. Next album, we're gonna go to Atlanta, ATL. You know what I mean? We'll go with my man Miracle, the self-titled album. Uh, self-titled album Miracle, released in 2000. Yeah, this is like like kind of that crunk kind of feel to it, like crunk era type of stuff, like Little John type stuff, but like it's corny. So pretty much the same concept. This is like a blind buy. I saw the cover. I was like, let me just pick it up. I heard some of the snippets. Cause when I buy albums, like when I go digging, I hear like some of the snippets of the album before buying it. I was like, okay, and then I'll get the album and then check the album out. Pretty decent album. The single of this album is "We Ain't Scared." That's the single of the album. Yeah, pretty cool stuff right here. Um, "We Ain't Scared," and I believe "Bounce" was a single as well. But "We Ain't Scared" was a dope track. "Bounce Bass Remix" was dope. "Life in the Dirty South" was pretty good. What was another joint that was dope? "Beat 'Em Down" was pretty good. "Smoker," "Hunting Season" was pretty good. P&D, you don't want to know the truth. Mama, Bounce, the album version, pretty decent stuff. My only gripe with this album is Homeboy's voice. He has kind of like a scratchy voice that could get a little bit annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Kind of reminds like Young One from that was part of Rough Riders. Like he kind of has that vibe to him, so to speak. But it's decent. Like the beats are dope. That's what saved them. But Not really a fan of his voice, but it's decent for what it is. I take it for what it is. But Miracle, self-titled album, released in 2000. All right. Then we're gonna go to London, England. We're gonna go with Miss Dynamite with a little deeper. This was released in 2002. Yeah, Miss Dynamite. She's from London, that kind of thing. This was like a blind buy for me. I was like, let me pick it up. Because I heard of her before, but I never really heard her music like that. There's a couple singles this album's known for. So It Takes More, Dynamite, and Put 'Em Out. Those are the singles of the album. Standout tracks for me is the Dynamite. That's probably one of my favorite songs of the album. Any Way You Want It. That was pretty good. Let's see another. Now You Want My Love. That was pretty good. Gotta Let You Know. All I Ever. A Little Deeper. And Danger. Those are like the songs that stand out for me. When I listen to this, I get like Amy Winehouse vibes, but in rap form. Because she does like her hip hop shit, but then she does like a mixture of R&B, but a little bit of like that UK house type of vibes and stuff like that was popular back in the late 90s, early 2000s. Like you got like a mixture of all of that, and then hence Salam Remy does some of the production on this album, so it kind of makes sense. That like I said, I get that Amy Winehouse vibes. Rest in peace with Amy Winehouse. But yeah, Miss Dynamite, A Little Deeper. This is released in 2002. All right. Next album, we're gonna go to the West Coast, Cali, or New Jersey, depending on how you signify it. Give me 1 second. Take off this price tag. I should have done that in the video, before the video. We're gonna go with OG Funk, Out of the Dark. This is released in 1993. OG Funk, he was the at one point he was the bassist. He was the Billy Bass Nelson. He was the bassist for Parliament Funkadelic and stuff like that. So yeah, pretty good stuff right here, man. Yeah, I mean, you got some dope shit right here. You got songs like Yeah Yeah. You got Funk is in the House, Funkadelic Groupie, Music for My Brother, I've Been Alone, Don't Take Your Love Out of Me, Out of the Dark, Angie, pretty good stuff. This kind of music I can definitely hear like in a movie, like from back in the early 90s, like something that you would have heard of like on South Central, or like movies like that, you know what I mean? Like kind of has like that feel to it. I could definitely this album be like a soundtrack to one of those movies, like those gangster movies from the early 90s, like even like Blood and Blood Out, or Menace to Society, stuff like, even Boys in the Hood, like this kind of music, when you listen to it, you could definitely hear that vibe to it, you know what I mean? It's really dope. So like I said, this is a blind buy. And OG Funk, Out of the Dark. It's released in 1993. Dope stuff right here. Alright. Next album, we're gonna go to the UK. Completely different genre of music. We're gonna go with The Cure with 17 Seconds. This was released in 1980. This is their second album. I fucking love this album. So glad I got my hands on this. If you're gonna own this album, this is the best way to own it. This is the deluxe edition. It comes with 2 discs. The first disc comes with the original disc, the original album, and then the second disc comes with like demos that they make the album, like demos that they made around like 79, 1980. Really good stuff. When at one point they were known as Cult Hero before they became The Cure. Yeah, really good stuff right here. Really enjoyed this album. Because with their first album, Three Imaginary Boys, they didn't really have they had like a completely different sound, and they didn't have that signature Cure sound. and like like I said, they have creative control and things like that. So they weren't really happy with the name of that album, which I need to get my hands on. I definitely will get my hands on that. But yeah, the single off this album is "A Forest." That was the single off this album. This was the album that was the beginning of their their gothic phase, that goth rock, post goth rock. You know what I'm saying? That dark wave or cold wave, whatever you want to call it. I mean, this whole album is a banger, man. You got Reflection, Play for Today, In Your House, 3, The Final Sound, A Forest, I fucking love that. And At Night, I fucking love that. 17 Seconds, and then you go to there's two with the Rarity joint. I mean, you got A Cult Hero, I Dig You, Journey by Another Train, The Secrets demo. You got some like live mixes. You got the alternative studio mix. You got some good stuff. You got some live versions of this song. It's really good stuff right here, man. Like really, really, really good. The sound quality of this album is really good. I remember I downloaded this album back in 2005, and it's back when I had the iPod Classic, and again around this album was kind of hard to find because like it was mostly sold in the UK, and you did have them sell here in the States, but they were like limited quantity. It was kind of hard to find, so I got lucky enough. I got this on eBay, and I was like, yo, I got it for a great price. I couldn't beat that. So yeah, so if you're gonna own this album, definitely I recommend you getting the deluxe edition that came out. I think this is 2005. Yeah, 2005. So I highly recommend it. Fucking love this album. Yeah, 17 Seconds, The Cure, released in 1980. All right, next album. We're gonna go to 1981 with the third album, Faith. This was released in 1981. Another one of my favorites. Definitely still part of the whole goth phrase that they were going through at the time. Really good stuff. Yeah, you got songs like The Holy Hour, Primary, which I believe Primary was a single of the album. The Other Voices, that was pretty good. All Cats of Grey, The Funeral Party, that shit goes hard. Doubt, The Drowning Man, Faith, Carnage Vices, the soundtrack, that was pretty good. And you got, again, with this one, this also has like a demo, like the second disc with the demos and the rarities that was recorded between 1980 and 1981. You got the Faith, the demo, which is some of the demos of these songs are like instrumentals, so they're not like, they don't have the vocals yet. They have kind of like a really rough, grimy feel to it, but I like that shit. I know some people won't like it, but I appreciate it for what it is. You can get really hear it from this real gritty, rawest form. You know what I mean? Doubt, I really enjoyed that. The demo version of that, I love the beat for that. The Holy Hour, just how the bass is like really piercing. Boom, 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 boom. That shit is so hard, man. Then you got some outtakes like the Primary studio outtake, Going Home Time. That was another demo joint, or studio outtake. The Violin song, studio outtake. Normal Story, studio outtake. That was pretty good. And you got some like live versions of certain songs like All Cats Grey, The Funeral Party, Other Voices, Drowning Man, Fave. And there's a song called Shut Up Sometimes, which is fucking dope. Which they say it's a single, but that song goes hard, man. I really enjoyed that song a lot, man. But yeah, I really, really enjoyed this album. One of my favorites. Sometimes I can't decide which one I like better. Faith or 17 Seconds. It just depends on the day, but they're both bangers, man. But yeah, Faith by The Cure, released in 1981. 1981 was a dope year for like music, movies, everything about 1980 was dope. Alright, and last but not least of the Cure saga or the trilogy, we go with the Cure with their fourth album, Pornography. This was released in 1982. Pretty much same concept. With this album, this is like considered to be one of the darkest albums in their discography. It was kind of like the ending of their goth phase, that kind of thing. Robert Smith, he was like going through a lot at the time. He was going through a lot of depression, He's kind of recluse dude. This is like around the time when he started that whole he started wearing his hair like that poof, like that's like this album was like around that time, like when he started rocking that that hairdo that he's known for. um he would, like, him and a whole bunch of people in the band, they would like indulge into a lot of drugs, a lot of alcohol, that kind of thing, and just they just put all the anger and all that stuff. They put that into the album, and this is what you get, man. And I remember again the album that I downloaded years ago, and like the the quality was trash. It just didn't sound very good. It was like sounding very muddy, and it just didn't really sound good. But with this version, it definitely sounds good. I mean, you got songs like 100 Years. Fucking love that. Dope way to start the album. Um, a Short-Term Effect, that was pretty good. The Hanging Garden, which is the single of the album. I didn't really care for that song too much, to be real with you. It's not one of my favorites. I just kind of feel like it didn't really fit the album. But it kind of makes sense why they chose that as a single, because them being a goth rock group, I guess the record label they were under at the time, they wanted them to, kind of put like a radio friendly type of song, and Hanging Garden definitely fits that, I guess, for that time period. But I don't feel like that song kind of fit the album. That sounds something that would have been more fitting for their later albums, like The Top that came out in '84 or something like that. Siamese Twins was pretty good. The Figurehead, that shit goes hard. A Strange Day, Cold, and Pornography. And then again, you got the rarities, disc two, rarities from 1981 to 1982. You got the break group demo, Demise, that was pretty good. Temptation, the Figurehead. The Hanging Garden demo version sounds a lot better than the studio version. I like that version better over the album version, but that's just me. The 100 Years demo, that was pretty good. That was like more synth based, because the first one has like more like the guitars and the drums, like that, the electric, not the electric drums, but like the drums and stuff like that, and then the guitars in this one. Which one? The 100 Years, this demo version was like more synth based, when you hear like the synth drums and things like that. Something you would hear like a Lin drum or something like that. That was pretty good. Then you got Airlock, the soundtrack. Then you got the Cold live version, the Strange Day live version. Yeah. And Temptation 2, the demo version. Yeah. This is really good stuff right here. Although I'm gonna keep it real with you, out of the trilogy, I kind of feel like this is like the weaker one compared to Faith and 17 Seconds. I know I'm gonna get a lot of shit for that. I don't know. It was good, but you could kind of tell they were kind of going away. They were kind of phasing out from that darker sound, and then you hear it on like albums like the Top, Head on the Floor, and shit like that. They, like, when they really started to make the more like 80s new wave pop type of stuff, you know what I mean? So which was okay, wasn't my favorite era. Like that mid 80s Cure, I wasn't really too fond of. I'm more of a fan like the early 80s Cure, like this era, Faith, 17 Seconds. I even like Disintegration from '89. That is fucking dope, because they went back to their roots on that album. So, which I need to get I think I have that album. I think I sold that one of my album reviews. I don't album CD collections. I don't remember. I got so much CDs, hard to keep up. But Pornography by The Cure, released in 1982. Dope stuff. All right. Next, we're gonna get back into the hip hop side of things. We're gonna go to the Boogie Down Bronx, by the way of Brooklyn. We're gonna go to Castle Hill Projects in North Bronx. Go with my man Just Ice with Kill the Rhythm, like a Homicide, released in 1995. You guys should know who Just Ice is. One of the founders of gangster rap. Used to roll with KRS-One at one point. It's really good stuff right here. If you guys know Just Ice, he spit his gangster shit. You know what I mean? And excuse me, he's been in the game since the mid '80s. You know what I mean? I'm trying to get more of his early stuff, like going back to the old school, which is kind of hard to find. It's very expensive. His '85, I think '86 and '87 album. I have the Desolate ones. I have Gun Talk, and I have this album. Those are the only ones I have. Need to get more, but his stuff is like kind of hard to find and kind of expensive too. But getting back to this album, glad I got it. I had this album downloaded for years, and I just finally got it for like a good price. The singles off this album, I believe, is the self-titled track "Kill the Rhythm," like a Homicide, which is actually like the last track of the album. Dope tracks, right? The standout tracks for me is Bad Boy Back in Town, Bring It Back Alive, Ladies Enough Respect, Keep It Real, Stay the Hell Away From Me, Sensi, Freestyle number 2, Kill the Rhythm. You're really dope stuff. Production wise, it kind of remind me of KRS-One's second album, the self-titled album, KRS-One, that came out in '95, but like with a more underground feel to it. So that's what I get. That's the vibes that I get from this album. So you get like that 1990, that 94, 95, mid 90s boom bap, that Bronx flavor. Yeah. So you get this like KRS-One sound. You get it all over this album. But yeah, Just Eyes would Kill the Rhythm, like a Homicide, released in 1995. All right, next album, we're gonna go to Memphis. You know what I'm saying? Get some nice barbecue, show some big booty shorties. We're gonna go with my man Tila. Peace of Mind, released in 1996. This is a really, really good album. I'm so glad I got my hands on this. I've heard so much good things about this album. And I was like, fuck it, let me get into it. The singles off this album is Show Enough and what was the other single? Show Enough and Tired of Ballin'. Those are the singles of the album. Jazzy Faye, he does some production, and then Tila and his DJ Slice One, I think his name is, does a lot of the bulk of the production. But Jazzy Faye is actually on this album, does some production. It's actually like one of his earliest appearances on Wax and stuff like that. Even though he's been around since like the late '80s, early '90s, but as a commercial side of things, it's definitely like one of his earliest appearances as far as like, production wise and things of that nature. But standout tracks for me is Twisted, Tired of Ballin', Strange, that was pretty good. Success goes hard. That beat just goes hard. I love that shit. Let It Rain was dope. Show Enough. Time was pretty good. Black Haven. Yeah, that's I guess that's the hood that he's from. He reps that shit hard. Because it was called White Haven, and then he calls it Black Haven. What's another joint? Suave House. You Can't Tell was pretty good. Survival, that shit goes hard. And self-titled track, Peace of Mind. Really good stuff. Really, really enjoyed this album. Love the sound of it. Anything Suave House puts out, they just put out bangers. I would like to get more of their stuff, but like some of the stuff is either decently priced or fucking expensive as shit. It's like kilo prices. Like some of the April MJG albums are like they're so expensive. Especially like the first 3 albums coming out hard, which always goes for a lot of money. Outside Looking In and the On Top of the World. I'm trying to get those albums, man. I really love those albums. Those are like, to me, their best albums in my opinion, my personal opinion. But yeah, really good stuff right here. And this is the only album that he dropped under Suave House. So just had to throw that out there. So yeah, Peace of Mind by Tila, released in 1996. Alright, next album we're gonna go to 1998. Still in the Memphis side of things. We're going with Tila with Now or Never. This was released in 1998. This time, this album, he actually he left Suave House. Then he went to Rap A Lot Records, and then pretty much the rest of his career, he was with Rap A Lot Records. The single of this album, I believe, was Why You and Bring 'Em Out. Those are the singles of the album. Standout tracks for me is Roll With It, Bring 'Em Out, Why You, Table Dance was pretty good. Still a Man, that was pretty good. Right Now, self-titled track Now or Never. These Hoes, Money and the Power, really good stuff right here. This was a good album, not as good as the first album, but it's pretty cool. You could kind of tell he was kind of going like for that more commercial sound and that kind of thing. Because Rap A Lot at that time period were kind of like hit and miss with the releases. Because to me, Rap A Lot had their heyday from the early to mid '90s. I think to me their peak years, their prime years, in my personal opinion, I'm gonna have to say, and it depends on the artist. Keep in mind, I would say from 1990 or 89 or whatever. I would say from 89 up to 97. I think those were their prime years. After that was kind of hit and miss, but they had some dope releases after that. But to me, 89 to 97 were like the prime years in my personal opinion. But yeah, good album. Not as good as Peace of Mind. But yeah, Tila with Now or Never, released in 1998. Alright. Still in the Tila side of things. Now we're going to go to 2000 with his album, The World Ain't Enough, by Tila, released in 2000, like I mentioned before. Pretty good stuff right here. It's decent. The singles off this album, I believe, is Tila, which there is a video for. You can find it on YouTube. You got songs that was pretty good. My standout tracks for me is Can't Stop Me, Thought on a Boat, that was pretty cool. Let's Be Friends was pretty good. Playboy, Drugs, Table Dance, the Millennium Mix, that shit goes hard. That beat for that shit is so hard. Set Me Free and The World Ain't Enough. This was a pretty decent album, but again, he was trying to go for that more commercial sound. And a lot of the production was done by him and DJ Slice T. I think that's his name. It's DJ Slice. I just forgot the letter but I think it's DJ Slice T. I think it was. But pretty decent album. But again, I think Peace of Mind was his best work, body work in my personal opinion. But can't go wrong with this. But The Water Ain't Enough by Tila, released in 2000. Alright, and last but not least, with the Tila side of things, you can go with Tila with Double Dose. This was released in 2002, again under Rap A Lot Records. Because again, Now or Never, The Water Ain't Enough, and in this album he was under Rap A Lot Records. I think the single of this album is Tennessee Titans, which features Gangsta Boo, recipes to her. Yo Gotti, Haystack, Criminal Man is dope. Project Players and Maru, pretty dope stuff right here. Standout tracks for me is Pimp Bitch, which features Bun B of UGK. That's a dope joint. Incredible, it was pretty good. Round and Round. Tennessee Titans, as I mentioned before. The self-titled track was pretty good. Double Dose. Coco, oh my god, that shit goes hard. Coco, Hold Up Man, that was pretty good. Dreams featuring Bun B in The Game. Yeah, this is good Game at the time when he was with Jay-Z the Bigger Figure. So that was like around that time period. This is before he was with Aftermath Records, so I throw that out there. And Strive, those are the standout tracks for me. But yeah, this is a decent album. Not my favorite. Again, Peace of Mind to me is his best album. My personal opinion, I don't think he should have left Suave House, but I think he left because of could have been because of contractual issues or money. That's usually always the case. But Rap A Lot. So Tila, Double Dose, released in 2002. Good stuff. Alright. Next album, we're gonna go to New Orleans by the way of Houston, Texas. Go on my boy Big Mike with Something Serious, released in 1994. You guys should know who Big Mike is. He at one point was one half of the hip hop duo The Convicts with him and Mr. 32. Rest in peace to Mr. 32. That boy, he was a wild one, man. I would love to get some of his albums, but his albums are like hard to find, very expensive. Let alone the Convicts album. I'm trying to get my hands on, but that should go for stupid money. But you guys should know Big Mike. Like I said, one half of the Convicts, and then in 1993, he was the lead rapper for Ghetto Boys because I think Willie D had left the group by then. Willie D, he left the group and he replaced Willie D. And then in 1996, Willie D came back. He left Ghetto Boys after Till Death Do Us Part. But yeah, something serious, dope shit right here. The singles of this album, I believe, is Wall of Mine, Creepin' Rollin', and Player, which they do have a video for. Really good stuff. Standout tracks for me, Coming From the Swamp, Wall of Mine, Ghetto Love, Creepin' Rollin', Smoke 'em, Choke 'em, Having Things, On the Real, Player, Southern Thing, self-titled track, Something Serious, Get Over That. I mean, the whole album is fucking dope. I'm just practically giving guys the whole album, man. Really, really good stuff right here. Yeah. Production-wise, I feel like it's like a mixture of Scarface's The World Is Yours, which is a very underrated album. Till Death Do Us Part is another dope album by the Ghetto Boys and very underrated in my opinion. And a mixture, a little tatty bit of The Diary by Scarface. Then you'll get this album right here. This is really, really good. I love this album. So glad I got it. I had so many times I could have bought it, but I actually got it from a hip hop lot and I just had to get it. So, you know what I mean? Because otherwise, if I got it by itself, it would have been more money. So, but yeah, Big Mike with Something Serious, released in 1994. Dope stuff. And then, still in the Big Mike's side of things, we're gonna go with his 1997 album, Still Serious. This is released in 97, like I mentioned before. Really, really good albums. Another dope follow-up. The single of this album, I believe, is Bourbon and Impalas. So, he's showing love to the Chevys because, that's like a New Orleans, Texas thing. You know what I mean? So you had to show, pay homage to that. Standout tracks for me is Play As the Governors. Still With a Kiss was pretty good. Southern Dialect was good. Candy for Babies. The single Bourbons and Impalas, that was pretty good. All a Dream was good. It's Alright. Gray Skies. Everyone Wants a Name. Self-titled track. Still Serious was good. And then Black Lacquer. Yeah, good stuff right here. Really good. Big Mike was Still Serious. Released in 1997. So sorry if you hear the dog in the background. Alright, and the last but not least of the Big Mike series is Hard to Hit, released in 1999. I already do have this album, but again, I got it from a lot. So I got it from eBay. So like I said, with those two albums alone, with the Still Series and Something Series, it was like a 3 CD lot, including this one. So that's the only reason why I got it. Because otherwise, if I had bought those albums individually, I would be paying like at least $20 and up for those albums. So I just had to sacrifice and get this. And it's not a bad of an album. It's not his best album. I showed this before, but I was like, fuck it, let me just get it. Like I said, it's released in 1999. The single of this album, I believe, was Hustlers and what was the other one? It was another one that Better Now. Those are the singles of the album, right? Standout tracks for me is Return of the Gangster. That was pretty good. Made Men, Hustlers, Southern Supreme, Sunday Morning was pretty good. Heads Like Us, Better Now, Claiming Real, Twerk It, that shit goes hard. Yeah, good stuff. Not my favorite out of the three, but it's good for what it is. You know what I mean? But Big Mike with Hard to Hit, and this was the last time that he dropped under Rap A Lot Records. After that, I think he went independent or something like that. But this was like the last time he did with Rap A Lot. So, yep, Big Mike, Hard to Hit, released in 1999. Excuse me. All right. Now we're gonna go to Queens, Hollis, Queens to be exact. We're gonna go with the Afros with Kickin Afrolistics, released in 1990. So they were a group. They were affiliated with Run DMC. It consisted of Cool T, who was also a dope producer. Did stuff for like the Flatliners later on in '94. Did some of the production on the album. You got DJ Hurricane, who was at one point he was like the DJ for like Beastie Boys and that kind of thing. And then I forgot the other person that was in the group. But they were, like I said, they were working with Run D. They were under the Run DMC tutelage, if you will. Yeah, good stuff right here. The singles of this album is Feel It and the self-titled track, Kickin Afrolistics. Jam Master Jay, rest in peace to him. He did the production on this album. Him and a guy named David Reeves, who did the production of the album. So really good stuff. Standout tracks for me is Better Luck Next Time. That was pretty good. Feel It, Whole Cakes, This Jam's For You. Why Do I Wear My Fro? That shit goes hard. Jump, Smoking, Federal Offense. I fucking love that. That shit goes hard, man. Federal Offense, that beat is crazy. Kickin Afrolistics. Those are the standout tracks for me. To me, I know a lot of people give shit to Back From Hell from Run DMC. It's not one of my favorite albums, but it's not bad. To me, it's like more experimental album. But I kind of feel like this album, production-wise, it should have been what Run DMC's Back From Hell should have been, like, in my personal opinion. But yeah, really good stuff. I got it for like a decent price, so definitely had to get my hands on that. But yeah, Kickin Afrolistics by the Afros, released in 1990. This album was kind of hard to find, but if you can get it for a decent price, it's a little up there in price. I seen it go. It depends. Like I seen it go. I got this. I think for like $16, but I got it from a hip hop lot. You know, cause usually by itself, it usually goes for like $30 and up, $40 and shit like that. But I got it for a good price, so I had to get my hands. And I got it from overseas. I got it from Sweden, so I definitely had to scoop that shit up. You know what I mean? So don't sleep on Discogs, man. Discogs be having some shit. But yeah, the Afros, Kickin Afrolistics, released in 1990. Right. Next albums, still in the Run DMC side of things. Oh, and by the way, the Afros, they were featured in the video, The Pause, the single off that Run DMC album, Back From Hell. The video for that, they were featured in the video as well. So I was out there. I forgot to mention that. All right, now again, still in the Run DMC-esque type of things. Still in the same year, 1990. We will go on my man Smooth Ice, straight out of Brownsville. He's from Howard Houses. Shout out to my Brownsvillians, all my people from the Hill. Shout out to y'all, man. Shout out to my peeps out there on Sutter Avenue. You know what I mean? Marcus Garvey's project. Shout out to the Low Lives. You know, shout out to y'all, man, for real. But yeah, he's from Howard Houses. Again, he's affiliated with Run DMC at one point. He only has 2 singles of the album. The singles are Do It Again and Smooth But Deaf. This whole album was produced by Run DMC, aka Jam Master Jay, did all the production on the album. This album was like more like in hardcore kind of things. He was like the hardcore artist from that Run DMC tree, if you will. Standout tracks for me is Do It Again, Smooth but Deaf is pretty good, which uses the Playing the Game by Barry White that Black Moon up using for I Got You Open, the remix, which was featured on the Digging in the Vaults compilation out that dropped in '96 that was put out illegally by Nervous Records. But yeah, that was pretty good. Without a Pause was good. Getting It Smooth. Chunk of Fuck was good. Pay Your Tickets. I'm Coming. Now It Sounds Like a Record. And Rock Till You Drop. Those are like the standout tracks for me. His flow, he kind of reminds me of like Granddaddy IU, but not as good, if that makes sense. But just like his way of flowing kind of reminds me of like that Granddaddy IU flow, if you will. So, but yeah, Smooth Ice. This was released in 1990. This is another album that's kind of hard to find. It's a little not expensive, but it's not cheap either. It depends, but I've seen it go up in price too in recent times. I've seen it go as much for like $30-$40, even $50. But I got it for like a good price, so I got lucky with this. But yeah, Smooth Ice, self-titled album, excuse me, released in 1990. All right. Now, from Brownsville, we're gonna go to Queens. We're gonna go to Corona, Queens, to be exact. I'm gonna go with two of my brothers, the Beatnuts The Originators. This is was released in 2002. This was after they left Loud Records because the Take It or Squeeze It album, I believe. So Toxicated Demons, the Street Level. So you got Toxicated Demons, Street Level, or the Beatnuts. Then you got Stone Crazy, Musical Massacre, Take It. So I believe this is their fifth album, because Toxicated Demons was a demo. But anyways, getting back to this album, this was like pretty much like the independent album. They were under Lanspeed Records, which ended up like Koch ended up buying them out and stuff like that. Excuse me. The singles off this album, there's a couple singles. The singles I believe was You Better Believe It, Work That Pole, and Buying Out the Bar. Yeah. Standout tracks for me is Yayo, that was pretty good. I like that joint right there. That features Ill Bill and Problems. That was pretty good. Originate with Lost Professor, that shit goes hard. My Music featuring Amaretta and Problems was good. You Crazy, featuring Cormega, that shit goes hard. You Better Believe It, that was dope. I really enjoyed that. Bex and Branson featuring Triple Safes of Terror Squad and Marley Metal. Marley Metal, who was also I've heard of him from the Take It or Squeeze It, so Take It or Squeeze It album. But before that, I never knew who that was. But I remember that name from the Take It or Squeeze It album and Back to Back. Those are the standout tracks. Definitely not one of the best albums. I just kind of feel like they just put it out because the songs that they had like in the stash, that I guess it felt like leftover tracks from Take It or Squeeze It. In my personal opinion, songs that was like in a cutting room floor. You know what I mean? So, it's a decent album. It's not the best. They just kind of feel a little uninspired on this album. You know what I mean? But yeah, decent album. I'm glad to own it because this is like the only album I didn't have in my collection because I have all the albums now. So, but yeah, The Originators by the Beatnuts, released in 2002. Alright, got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I got 6 more to show. So sorry if it's a long video, but fuck it. When I bring y'all stuff, I know it's worth it. So, alright, now enough of the chit chat. Now we're gonna go to LA. We're gonna go to Southgate to be exact. Show my homies. Cyprus Hill. This is released in 2004. Till Death Do Us Part. It's known for 2 singles, What's Your Number, and Latin Thugs, which was actually featured on, if you watch the movie White Girls, like in the beginning of the movie, they play that song Latin Girls, and I've always fell in love with that song. Um, yeah, it's the standout tracks for me is "Till Death Do His Part," the self-titled track. No, I'm sorry. What's the name? Give me 1 second. "Till Death Comes," Latin Thugs, "Never Know." That was pretty good. Last Laugh was pretty good. One Last Cigarette, Street Wars, and the self-titled track "Till Death Do His Part." Um, my only gripe with this album was kind of experimental in some sorts of way. Um, they trying to dabble into like reggae, dub, like ska, and it just didn't. I didn't really like it. I respect what they try to do. They never try to make the same album twice, but yeah, I wasn't really digging it. You know, it just didn't work out for me, not for them. I mean, it's one thing with the Skulls and Bones. That's one thing, cause like more fitting to their style. But the whole ska reggae, it just didn't work for them. You know what I mean? It just didn't really work out. But it's a decent album. It's not their best album, but I like this album cover. This is actually the alternate cover. It's like the overseas version, whereas the US version is just like the old school logo. It's like black and gray, and it has like the old school skulls, Cyprus Hill logo and stuff like that. I didn't want to get that, so I rather just get this. It just has a cooler, cover and stuff like that. So, just like the collector in me, you know what I'm saying? So, but yeah, Till Death Do His Part, released by Cyprus Hill, released in 2004. Not my favorite album for them, but it's an okay album. But it is what it is. All right, now from LAX, we're gonna go to Detroit. This is now these two albums I've been trying to get for years, and I'm glad I finally got my hands on it. And we'll go with Aaliyah with "One in a Million." This is by Aaliyah, released in 1996. This is a great album right here. This album it had a nice little history to it. So, you guys know at one point she was married to R. Kelly, and then her uncle, who was the owner of Background Records, they wanted her out of the marriage. Like, they wanted her to sever ties with R. Kelly because nigga's a perv, you know what I'm saying? Nigga's, he's weird, he's marrying fucking 15-year-old girls. But I think to me, I'm gonna be real with you, the family had a lot to do with that shit too. So it's not just R. Kelly. They were in on it. They were in it for the bag too. So let's not put all the blame on R. Kelly. But needless to say, it was just disgusting. But anyways, so originally this album was supposed to be produced by Diddy or Puffy or Love or whatever they fucking call him these. Well, now he's like, niggas on the run and shit like that from the feds. Oh my god, like the memes, 50 Cent. If you on Instagram, 50 just 50 is just full, man. But anyways, she was supposed to be working with Puffy, but then he didn't want no parts of her because of her past with R. Kelly, which I kind of think R. Kelly, I think he dropped a dime on Diddy from these past times with the whole sexual allegation and all that stuff. So I don't know. There's a lot of shit going on. I think R. Kelly felt some type of way about that. You know what I mean? So, But anyways, so Diddy told her to like kind of go with other people. Guys didn't want to have nothing to do with you, just because of the whole R. Kelly thing that they had going on at the time, and then because the story with the whole Trinidad vacation that they did. Aaliyah was out there with them for a while, and then I think they did some songs, but it just never came out or that kind of thing. And then eventually, I think he stirred his way to Jermaine Dupri, pretty much the same thing, and then Timbaland came into play, and that's how Timbaland came into play, and and then pretty much the rest is history. Really, really good album. Um, man, this is a good album. This album has 6 singles. The singles are If Your Girl Only Knew, Gotta Give It Up, One in a Million, self-titled track, 4-page letter. That's my shit right there. The One I Give My Heart To and Hot Like Fire. Those are the singles to the album. Standout tracks for me is Beats for the Streets, was the intro. Hot Like Fire, One in a Million, A Girl Like You, If Your Girl Only Knew, Choosy Lover. Fucking love that. I remember the first time I heard that song, that was when, if you guys know about New York Undercover, you guys would know, like, towards the end of the show, they always go to this jazz club, and, like, you know, famous artists would perform, and Aaliyah was in that episode, and she performed Choosy Love, and I've always loved that song. Which I found out that was like a cover, that was like a Isley Brothers cover song, but man, she did it justice in my opinion. 4-page letter, Giving You More, I Got Your Back, Never Giving Up, Heartbroken, It Goes Hard, Ladies in the House, which ironically, Redman used that same beat on the song Downtown Funk of the Doctor Name. I was like, this motherfucker, that's where you got that, where you jacked that beat from. Like, holy shit, that's crazy. So I threw that out there. The One I Give My Heart To, that was pretty good. For years, this album was like really hard to find. It was out of print. Reason being was because her mom was pretty much distraught from her death and things like that. She was afraid of people, like, you know, capitalizing off her death and like just kind of misusing, like, you know, with the illegal downloads and all that stuff, you know, that kind of thing. Because, you know, her uncle and the mom, or the family rather, they're in charge of Leah's estate. And her mom wanted her music off the shows because they owned that. They owned this album and the next album that I'm gonna show. And because what I believe, because the Ain't Nothing But a Number album, they didn't own that. That was Jive Records. R. Kelly was all over that, so I think he owned the rights to the album. But with this album, they owned the rights for that. So, and as well as the next album that I'm gonna show. But yeah, and so that's why for years it was kind of hard to find, and then it wasn't even on streaming services. You know what I mean? So I think like 3 years ago they finally, you know, was like, all right, let's put it out. The fans deserve it, that kind of thing. They deserve to hear the album. They deserve to hear this classic piece of music. And yeah, and next thing you know, this is all over the streaming platforms and stuff like that, man. And I don't give a fuck what nobody says. Without her, there will be no Beyonce, there will be no Rihanna, no Alicia Keys, none of that. So all you favorite artists, R&B singers that y'all like, it wasn't for her. They took a page out of her book. I'm just kidding. I gotta keep it a buck. Sorry for all my Beehive, you know, fans. I just had to keep it real with that. But yeah, One in a Million by Aaliyah, released in 1996. Dope album. Alright. The next album, we're gonna go to 2001. We're gonna go over to Leah. Self-titled track, Aaliyah, released in 2001. So the story of this album was that this album originally was supposed to be released back in 99. I think 99 and 2000, but at the time she was working on the movie Romeo Must Die, so she had to put the album to the halt. And then eventually after the album, and I think at that time she was working on the movie Queen of the Damned as well. So I was reading up online, like, where, like, you know, usually, like, when she would record, like, after she filmed the movies, she would record. Like, she would record so she would film during the day and she would record at night. You know what I mean? So, but she didn't do it like all at once. She did it like sparingly, like throughout the movies and things, like both movies and things like that. Because, like I said, this album was originally supposed to be released in 99. Then it got pushed back to 2000, and then finally in 2001. So that's why, like, some of the songs could sound a little dated compared to, like, you know, what it was before. But yeah. But Leah, like I said, a self-titled track. There are a couple singles of the album. We Need a Resolution, Rock the Boat, and More Than a Woman. Those are the singles of the album. Um, yeah, this album brings me back, man, because like this came out in 2001, so I remember that album. Like, it's just I was 14 at the time, and I remember that coming out. I think it came out in the summertime of that year, man. And I used to always see Rock the Boat a lot, and that song kind of makes me sad because that's a video that she did like after she left the Bahamas to go back to the States. It's where she died, and that was it's just like this is really like it really makes me sad. But just talking about that is like really sad, man. That was like a big loss for music, man, for the time. But getting back to the album, We Need a Resolution, standout tracks, Rock the Boat, More Than a Woman, Never No More was pretty good. I Care for You, Read Between the Lines, Is Whatever, and I Can Be, and those were the days. Dope album. So glad I got my hands on that. Yeah, really good stuff, man. So, and that song Try Again was supposed to be on this album too. That was on the Romeo Must Die. That would have been on the album, but again, because she was filming movies and things like that, that song couldn't have been on the album. But I believe it is on, I believe in the European version of this album. So, sad I thought it out there. But Aaliyah was self-titled, the self-titled album, Aaliyah, released in 2001. Rest peace to Aaliyah. Yeah, beautiful girl. Alright, got three more. So from Detroit, we're going to go to Houston, Texas. We're going with my man, Big Mello, with Bone Hard Niggas, released in 1992. This is the remastered version. The OG version has 19 tracks. The remastered version has 16 tracks. So, I mean, it is what it is. I'm just glad I own it because it's not an album that I hear people talk about. And this album usually goes for a little bit of money online, but I got it for a good price, so I'm glad I got my hands on it. The singles of this album is I believe it is Don't Let the Name Fool You and I'm Playing the Game. Crazy C, dope producer who did a lot of production, who practically did the whole album, produced the whole album for Mr. Scarface when he was on as Mr. Scarface. The album Mr. Scarface is Back. He did pretty much the whole album, and pretty much the same thing with this album. Standout tracks for me is Bone Hard Niggas, Don't Let the Name Fool You, Don't Love Nobody, Gang Move. Gang Move is probably my favorite joint right there. Uses the Gap Band sample, Yearning for the Love, the same sample that was used for Nas's Life's a Bitch, but they use like the actually Roach Clip drum beat, which is the they use for Paid in Full for Everybody Rakim. That shit just goes hard. Symptoms of a Crook, Primetime Love, Living for the Weekend, Live in 3D, Playing the Game, I Don't Trust Them. Yeah, dope shit right here. Again, a lot of the production was done by Big Mel and Crazy C themselves. So yeah, good stuff right here. Good stuff. Dope shit. Alright. And still in the Houston side of things, Big Mello, we're gonna funk your mind. We're gonna funk your mind, funk with your mind. This was released in 1994. Bone Hard Niggas was released in 1992. This was released in 1994. This is a really good album. Known for the singles Wind Me Up and Funk With Your Mind. Those are the singles of the album. Fucking love this album. Standout tracks for me is what's a good song? Funk With Your Mind, That Killer, Fever, Southside, Get Some Gone, Charge of the Game, Right for Your Ass, Saga of a Dope Fiend, That Killer, Family Affair 94, So Much Love, Southside. Really, really good stuff right here. Yeah, this is a really good album. I actually prefer it over the Bone Hard Niggas because the Bone Hard Niggas was good, but they use more sample. It was like more sample based, whereas this album, it has some samples, but not as much. They use more organic production, and I think it's really good. I always like the album cover, like that purple and black. It kind of has like a really dark feel to it. Really good stuff. Unfortunately, he passed away back in 2002 from a car accident. So it was just pretty sad. But I just had to throw that out there. But yeah, we're gonna Funk with Your Mind by Big Mello, released in 1994. I would like to get my hands on Southside Story, but that shit goes for a lot of money. It's very expensive. So if I can get my hands on that, I definitely will. But this shit goes for like crazy money, so I doubt it. But it's probably just like a download if anything. All right. And then last but not least, we're gonna go back to the West Coast. We're gonna go to Fresno, California side of things. We're going with my man Killer Tay with Mr. Mafioso. This was released in 1998. This was released under AWOL Records. AWOL Records, home of Tebow, Marvelous, people like that, Pizzo, and people like that, 151 and all that stuff. The single of this album was Mr. Mafioso, the self-titled track. That was pretty decent. Not my favorite song, but my favorite songs though is Kingpins. That shit goes hard. Doug Livin', I fucking love that song. Doug Livin' was dope. Agent 187, Legit Hustlers, Pay Styles, Murder One, Big Dogs, I fucking love that shit. Too Many Motherfuckers, I See Faces, 6 Feet Deep, My Pastime, fucking dope album. Production wise, definitely reminiscent of like Till the Casket Drop. Like, if you like that type of production, then you'll definitely enjoy that. AWOL Records was such a dope record label. They had like a really distinct sound, man. DJ Darrow, BC, and all them cats, man, like they really, really hooked them niggas up with the production, man. Pizzo, like all them cats, man. Lunatic, I mean, how could I forget Lunatic, man? But yeah, Mr. Mafioso by Killer Tay, released in 1998. Fresno, Central Hip Hop, Central California hip hop, dope shit right here. And that's it, folks. I know it's a bit long, but fuck it. I know you guys will enjoy it. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Definitely let me know what you guys think, what albums you heard. Definitely stay tuned for more. Alright? Peace!